I'm Chief Political Reporter Amanda Rooker. I'm here in the Iowa Senate at the end of a very tense week here at the Iowa State House. Most of that tension has to do with Senate File 418, which advanced through both the Iowa House and the Senate this week. What this bill does is it removes gender identity protections from Iowa's Civil Rights Act. That was a classification that was added to Iowa's Civil Rights Code back in 2007. That's when Democrats controlled the Iowa House, the Iowa Senate, and the governor's office. Now, Republicans introduced this bill because of a lawsuit. That lawsuit was filed last Monday. It accuses the Iowa City School District of denying a transgender man access to the school's public restroom following a 2023 law that says transgender Iowans have to use school restrooms that match their sex at birth. Now, Republicans say this is an example of how there's a conflict in code. They say the protection in Iowa's Civil Rights Act protecting gender identity stops some other state laws from taking effect, like that bathroom law. But there has been a public outcry this past week. Starting from Monday, when transgender Iowans and other LGBTQ advocates packed the State House. Those protesters were chanting, "Trans rights are human rights." They were saying this bill goes far beyond school athletics and bathrooms. They say that civil rights protections ensure that Iowans don't face discrimination when it comes to being offered housing or being offered a job or a loan, things like that. They say this bill would allow discrimination based on gender identity. Now, this bill moved very quickly through the Iowa State House. It was just introduced last week, and it was approved by the Iowa House and Senate this week. Now, that gender identity bill was really the main focus here at the Iowa State House this week, but there were some other bills that advanced through some subcommittees that did garner some attention. One was a bill that would put restrictions on medication abortions. Now, that bill would require abortion clinics and providers to give patients information on the risk associated with medication abortion and, quote, abortion reversal options. That bill advanced through subcommittee. That is just the first step in the legislative process. Now, every week I feel like I'm talking about some sort of bills that put restrictions on diversity, equity, and inclusion. This week, no exception. That was back at the State House again. The House Higher Education Committee advanced two bills. One would stop community colleges from having DEI offices. That bill was actually tabled a few weeks ago here at the State House, but the chairman brought that bill back. He says he wants to have this codified in law just in case community colleges in the future were ever to establish a diversity, equity, or inclusion office on their campus. Another bill that committee advanced aims to stop private colleges from participating in DEI efforts and programs. That bill would say any college that participates in the Iowa Tuition Grant Program would not be able to receive that money if they had DEI programs on campus. Another bill that advanced through subcommittee at the Iowa State House this past week would bring back the death penalty in Iowa for certain crimes. That is Senate File 329, and it advanced through a Senate subcommittee Wednesday. It would bring back the death penalty in Iowa if someone committed first-degree murder of a peace officer. And another bill that advanced out of subcommittee would put new requirements on what low-income Iowans can use their federal food assistance dollars to buy. The bill would send $1 million to the Double Up Food Bucks program, but another section of the bill would require the state to request a federal waiver that would restrict what products Iowans can buy through the SNAP food assistance program. That bill advanced out of a House subcommittee on Wednesday. We expect next week to be another very busy week at the Iowa State House, so make sure you are checking updates on kcci.com and following us on our social platforms to stay up to date.